Who is the first character that comes to your mind when you hear the word evil in the world of One Piece? How about when you hear the word loyalty? How about hard work? Or how about pride? Or sacrifice? Damn, revenge is an interesting one. And so is rage. Well, today we'll analyze the best representation of each thing in One Piece. And before we begin, well, no matter what, most of these are a matter of personal opinion. So yeah, you can let us know which characters you would choose for each trait. By the end of the video, we will count which character got the most points as well. And with all that out of the way, let's get to the exciting part. Okay, let's begin with an interesting one. Which is the best representation of heroism in the world of One Piece? Well, here's what I think. Heroism isn't just about flashy moments of saving the day. It's about standing for justice, even when it's not the easiest path. Let's look at the candidates. First of all, let's begin by saying that we will not be considering Luffy for this point. I mean, in the story, Luffy repeatedly states that he does not want to be seen as a hero. So us giving him the best representation of the word heroism would be kind of ironic, right? So let's see the actual candidates then. First up, Kobe. Remember Marineford? Kobe stood in front of a Kainu and yelled for the war to stop. Insane move, right? He's young, idealistic, and has guts for days. But is he really the best representation of heroism? Not yet. He is still growing after all, and that's fine. Then we have Fujitora. This man voluntarily blinded himself because he couldn't stand to see the evils of the world. And let's not forget his efforts to dismantle the warlord system. Fujitora is a hero who's willing to challenge the status quo, even if it puts him at odds with his own organization. Respect. That's all I've got to say there. But hear me out. When you think of a true hero, someone who embodies strength, justice, and sacrifice, it's gotta be Monkey D. Garp. This man has dedicated his entire life to protecting people, even when it meant turning his back on family. His nickname is literally Garp the Hero and the hero of the Marines. He trained Kobe, stood his ground against Roger, and let's be real, he's probably thrown more punches for justice than anyone in the series. Sure, he's rough around the edges, but that's part of his charm. Garp is the ultimate hero because he represents unwavering moral conviction, even in a world as chaotic as One Piece, and even being part of a corrupted organization like the Marines. He always does what he thinks is right, and does not stand being told what to do if that means going against his beliefs. Now that's a real hero if you ask me. Next up, what is the best representation of a perfect sleep mask? Well, the answer to that is obviously Mantis Sleep. And why would you need a sleep mask exactly? Well, because sleep is actually way more important than what you think. I mean, I don't know about you, but without a good night's sleep, I just can't function throughout the day. And that's why I love Mantis Sleep, as it helps me sleep like a literal baby. And hurry up, because this is the last chance to benefit from their holiday discounts. Discounts, mystery boxes, or even free journals are all part of Mantis Sleep's great holiday offers. Adjustable, easy to use, comfortable. These masks literally tick all boxes for a better sleep. Check Mantis Sleep by clicking the link in the description down below and use code Akagami to get 10% off your order. So, what are you waiting for? Improve your sleep today by buying sleep masks from Mantis Sleep. But now, let's get back to our video. Moving on, who do you think is the best representation of evil in One Piece? Let's dig in. First,
Don Quixote do Flamingo.
Oh, Dofi. The guy literally rules a kingdom by manipulating everyone like pawns on a chessboard. He's a puppet master of chaos, and his backstory? Pure nightmare fuel. But while Doflamingo is a strong contender, he's more a product of his environment. A twisted kid who turned into an even more twisted adult. Let's not even go over all the crimes he committed in One Piece. That'd probably take us like a solid minute. Next, we have Kaido. This guy's a walking catastrophe, and he's got the resume to prove it. Wars? Check. Oppression? Check. Drinking problems? Oh, triple check. But is Kaido the purest form of evil? Not really. He's more about brute force and domination than the deep, calculated malice that truly defines evil. Now, let's talk about Loki. Wait, who? Yeah, if you're scratching your head, you're not alone. Loki's barely in the story, at least while writing this video, that is. What we do know about him, though, is that he's supposed to be extremely evil, even having killed his own father to obtain a devil fruit. Now, come on, that's gotta be evil, right? But since we don't know all the details, we're gonna let him lie and just move on. Finally, we have Imu. Now, this is evil personified. Imu is the shadowy puppet master of the world, the figure behind the scenes controlling everything, from the world government to the Void Century cover-up. Imu represents pure, unrelenting evil, an entity with godlike power who answers to no one. The sheer mystery surrounding Imu makes them terrifying. Who else orders the complete erasure of islands like it's just another Tuesday? Imu doesn't just represent evil, they are the system of evil itself. And that's why we give this round to Imu. So far, both Imu and Garp won 1 point each. Let's keep going. Now, Pride. Who do you think wears this trait like a crown? Well, let's explore the options first. First up, it's Blackbeard. Oh man, Teach. This guy's got ambition ambition for days and no shame in boasting about it. He's like, I'm gonna be the Pirate King no matter what it takes and what I need to do. But is that really pride or just shameless greed? Not so sure, to be honest. So let's see what other options we have. Next, there's St. Charlos. Oh, if pride had a most annoying category, he'd win hands down. Charlos thinks he's better than everyone just because he was born into the Celestial Dragons. But is that true pride? Not really. It's kind of more like entitlement, I think. But now, let's talk about Enel. Oh boy, this guy doesn't just think he's God, he is God. Or at least he believes that. The sheer arrogance, the smugness, the way he laughs in the face of everyone who dares to challenge him. And remember when Luffy punched him and he made that face? Priceless. Enel's pride is so overwhelming, it literally blinds him to reality. That's why he's the winner. If pride were a currency, Enel would be richer than the world government. Enel gets his first point as well. Next, when it comes to strength, who's the first powerhouse that pops into your head? Let's break it down. Kaido is the strongest creature in the world. The guy has an unkillable reputation, has tanked insane damage, and once jumped off a sky island for fun. But hold on, is Kaido really the best representation of strength? He's undeniably powerful, but his strength feels like it's all about brute force. There's no finesse. Next up, Garp, hero of the Marines, Fist of Love. The man punches mountains for warm-ups. Garp is pure strength wrapped in charisma, and let's be real, his punches do pack a lot of damage. But hear me out. When you think of strength that's both raw power and emotional weight, it's gotta be Whitebeard. The man was called the strongest man in the world, and for good reason. He fought for his family, stood tall even in the face of death, and left an impact that shook the entire world. Whitebeard's strength wasn't just about his devil fruit or his haki, it was his will, and that's what makes him the ultimate symbol of strength in One Piece. Whitebeard gets his first point as well. When it comes to loyalty next, who's the ultimate ride or die in One Piece? Well, we're gonna break it down. First, Nami. She started as a thief, but ended up becoming one of the most loyal Straw Hats. Remember when she gave up everything to help her village, and later stuck by Luffy even when it meant facing her own fears? Solid candidate. Sanji, though, well, his loyalty is as complicated as his cooking skills. He left the crew for Whole Cake Island, but let's not forget, it was all to protect them. He literally sacrificed his happiness and freedom for the sake of the crew. Now that's some loyalty. Truth be told, every single Straw Hat is as loyal as it gets. But if I had to give this to only one, well, in that case, it'd have to be this guy. Let's talk about Zoro. Zoro's loyalty is on another level. Remember Thriller Bark? This man took on all of Luffy's pain from Kuma without even flinching. Not a word of complaint, not a hint of doubt. Nothing happened, he said, bleeding out like a fountain. If loyalty were a contest, Zoro wouldn't just win, he'd set the standard. And that's why he's the definitive pick. Zoro got his point as well. When it comes to freedom next, well, this is the central theme of One Piece, but who embodies it the best? Let's dive in. First up, you know him, you love him, Roger, the Pirate King himself. Roger reached Raftel and uncovered the secrets of the world. If freedom means living life on your own terms, Roger was the ultimate example. But his journey ended. He reached the summit and passed the torch. Then we have Blackbeard. Now, this man is a wild card. He's chaotic, cunning, and determined to grab all the freedom he can, no matter the cost. But his freedom comes at the expense of others. So is that true freedom? Not really. It's more selfishness than liberation. But finally, Luffy. Now hear me out. Luffy doesn't just live for freedom. He breathes it. His dream to be the Pirate King isn't about treasure. It's about having the freedom to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And what's more, Luffy fights for the freedom of everyone around him, whether it's Nami, Robin, or entire islands. That's what makes him the ultimate symbol of freedom. No one represents it better. Luffy gets his first point as well. When you think of resilience now, who's the first character that comes to mind? Let's explore. Zoro is the definition of unbreakable will. From Mihawk slicing him down to the agony of taking Luffy's pain at Thriller Bark, Zoro keeps getting back up. He's the guy you want on your side when things go south. Plus, with his promise of never losing again and sticking to it no matter what, well yeah, this takes some serious determination and resilience. Whitebeard though, now that's resilience on a grand scale. At Marineford, the man literally died standing. He endured countless injuries, faced betrayal, and still brought the world to its knees. Whitebeard is resilience personified. But let's be real, Luffy takes the crown here. He's been poisoned, beaten, burned, frozen, and even emotionally shattered, yet he never gives up. Remember when he fought Rob Lucci and just refused to give up or fall down? How about when he climbed on top of the snowy mountain in Drum Island to save Nami? Or how about when he just kept going until he got Sanji back? I could go on and on, to be honest. No matter what the world throws at him, Luffy bounces back stronger. That's why he's the winner. Luffy gets his second point of today's video. Doflamingo. Next up, revenge. It's a dangerous motivator, but in One Piece, it's also incredibly compelling. So let's see our candidates. First, Doflamingo. His thirst for revenge is unmatched in its intensity and scope. After being cast out of the Celestial Dragons, he spent his entire life plotting his return to power and vengeance on the world. Dofi doesn't just seek revenge on those who wronged him, he takes it out on everyone. His manipulation of Dressrosa and the destruction he caused show just how far he'll go to exact his revenge. Arlong's revenge is driven by his hatred for humans, fueled by years of oppression under their rule. His goal to dominate and enslave humans stems from his belief that fishmen are superior. Arlong's actions, especially his treatment of Nami and her village, make him one of the most memorable villains in One Piece. Zephyr's story is a tragic tale of revenge born from betrayal and loss. A former admiral of the Marines, Zephyr lost everything: his family, his faith in justice, and eventually his own ideals. When pirates destroyed his life and the Marines abandoned him, Zephyr turned to revenge, becoming the very thing he once fought against. His transformation into Z leaves behind a legacy of bitterness, pain, and destruction, making him one of the most tragic examples of revenge gone wrong. But then we have Hody Jones. Hody's revenge isn't personal, it's ideological. He's driven by blind hatred, indoctrinated into a belief system that vilifies humans as a whole. What makes Hody unique is that his vengeance is self-destructive. It's not about justice or even personal loss. Hody's revenge is irrational, fueled by drugs and hatred passed down through generations. He represents the idea that revenge, when untethered from reason, leads to ruin. While all these characters embody revenge in different ways, Hody stands out because his motivations aren't rooted in a single event, but in a deep-seated ideology. His revenge is so irrational and venomous that it destroys not just his enemies, but himself and his followers. That's why Hody Jones is the winner. His story is a cautionary tale about the corrosive nature of revenge. Hody Jones got his first point as well. Next up, who in One Piece carries the heaviest burden of solitude, aka who represents the word loneliness? It's Robin, hands down. From the moment she was 8 years old, Robin was hunted by the entire world. She couldn't trust anyone, couldn't settle anywhere, and spent 2 decades running from her past. Her loneliness wasn't just emotional, it was existential. But the beauty of Robin's story is how she overcame it. When she joined the Straw Hats, she finally found a family. Remember her tearful cry on Eni's lobby? "I want to live?" That wasn't just a cry for survival, it was a cry for connection. Robin's journey from isolation to belonging is one of the most powerful arcs in the series. Nico Robin gets her first point as well. When we talk about egoism next, let's not beat around the bush. It's St. Charlos, no contest. Sure, there are egotistical characters in One Piece, but Charlos operates on a completely different level. This guy doesn't just think he's better than everyone else. He acts like the world exists solely to serve him, enslaving people, treating them like animals, and throwing tantrums when things don't go his way. Classic Charlos. What sets him apart is that his ego isn't earned. He's not strong like Kaido, clever like Doflamingo, or even charismatic like Blackbeard. Charlos is simply a product of his status as a celestial dragon, and that makes his egoism even more grating. He's living proof that unchecked entitlement is the worst kind of egoism. So yeah, Charlos takes this one, and it's not even close. Next up, friendship. And who embodies friendship better than the Straw Hats? I mean, come on. The crew is the definition of ride or die. Every member of the crew has their own strengths, weaknesses, and backstories, but what ties them together is their unshakable bond. They don't just work together, they fight, bleed, and dream together. Take Luffy, for example. He doesn't recruit crewmates for their abilities, he chooses them for who they are. Then there's Zoro, who's ready to sacrifice everything for Luffy's dream. Nami? She went from betraying them to trusting them with her life. Sanji? Well, he left the crew to protect them, even when it tore him apart inside. And let's not forget moments like Robin's "I Want to Live" or Usopp's tearful apology after Water 7. The Straw Hats are more than just a pirate crew. They're a family. That's why they're the ultimate representation of friendship. So here, I suppose all the Straw Hats should be given an additional point. But when it comes to tragedy now, One Piece gives us no shortage of heartbreaking stories. But who out of them all takes the crown? Every character has a backstory designed to punch us right in the gut. But let's analyze each contender we have. First, Nico Robin. Her life is defined by loss and betrayal. She was branded a demon at 8 years old, her entire island destroyed, and she was forced to live as a fugitive, mistrusting everyone she met. Robin's story is pure heartbreak, and it's a miracle she found a home with the Straw Hats. Then there's Nami. Watching her mother get killed right in front of her, and then enduring years of slavery under Arlong is enough to break anyone. Nami's pain was palpable every time she smiled through her suffering while secretly trying to buy her village back. Her story brought us one of the series' most iconic moments, Luffy placing his hat on her head before declaring war on Arlong. And now, Sanji. His story is a tragic mix of abuse and rejection, raised by a family that saw him as worthless. Sanji was locked away and treated as a failure. When he finally escaped, it was only to face starvation and the pain of being separated from Zeph, the man who saved his life and became his true father figure. Law's story is pure devastation as well. A child who lost his entire family and hometown to the Amber Lead Syndrome. Law was left with nothing but vengeance. His only solace was Corazon, who sacrificed everything to save him. Law's journey was soaked in pain and loss, making his eventual rise as a leader of the Heart Pirates all the more powerful. But then there's Kuma. Kuma's tragedy stands apart because it's not just about his past, it's about his present and future. A once proud revolutionary, Kuma willingly surrendered his body and mind to the world government, sacrificing everything to protect his comrades and the Straw Hats. Watching him devolve into a mindless weapon while still clinging to his duty as a guardian is gut-wrenching. Unlike the others, Kuma's tragedy is ongoing, and it's a constant reminder of what he's lost. While all these characters have endured unimaginable pain, Kuma's story is a mix of self-sacrifice, ongoing suffering, and a haunting sense of duty. That's why he wins this category. His tragedy isn't just something that happened, it's something that is still happening, making it one of the most heart-wrenching narratives in One Piece. Kuma gets his first point as well. Next up, Brotherhood. Three brothers bound by a cup of sake and a shared dream. Luffy, Ace, and Sabo represent brotherhood in its purest form. Each of them grew up with nothing but each other, fighting side by side to survive in a cruel world. They didn't share blood, but they shared something deeper, a bond forged through hardship, trust, and love. Ace's death was the ultimate sacrifice, and it shattered Luffy. But Sabo's return showed us that even death can't break their bond. Their brotherhood isn't just about being there for each other, it's about carrying on each other's dreams. Together, they represent what it truly means to be brothers. All three brothers get 1 point each, giving Ace and Sabo their first point, while giving Luffy his fourth. Let's talk rage next. Who does it best in One Piece? Luffy's rage is explosive. Remember when he punched St. Charlos? Oh, that moment wasn't just satisfying, it was pure catharsis. But then there's Whitebeard, who unleashed all his fury on Akainu after Ace's death. Both are iconic moments of righteous anger. But Doflamingo? Oh, his rage is something else entirely. Remember when young Dofi awakened his conqueror's haki while cursing the world? Well, that wasn't just anger. It was rage fueled by betrayal, hatred, and a lifetime of bitterness. Doflamingo's rage is more than an emotion. It's his driving force, and that's why he wins this category. Doflamingo earns his first point as well. When it comes to manipulation next, well, there's no beating Emu. Doflamingo, Crocodile, and others have played their fair share of mind games, but Emu is on a whole different level. As the unseen ruler of the world, Emu doesn't just manipulate individuals, they manipulate entire nations, histories, and even the perception of reality. The sheer scale of Emu's manipulation is mind-boggling. Erasing islands, controlling the world government, and hiding the truth of the Void Century? Emu isn't just a manipulator, they're the puppet master behind everything. And that's why they take the crown here. Emu earns her second point of today's video. Okay, hard work. Who comes to mind? Well, Zoro, of course. Yeah, I suppose characters like Luffy could come close, but I think it would be more fair to give this one to Zoro. No devil fruits, no special race, 100% work on sword skills and body training. Zoro's journey is defined by his relentless dedication to becoming the world's greatest swordsman. He trains harder than anyone else, constantly pushing his limits. Remember when he fought through Mihawk's slash as a rookie? Or when he survived Kuma's pain? Oh, that's not luck. That's hard work. Zoro's discipline and perseverance are unmatched. While others have moments of doubt, Zoro keeps his eyes on the goal. If you ever need proof that hard work pays off, just look at Roronoa's Zoro. Zoro gets his second point as well. When it comes to leadership, there are some heavy hitters in One Piece, but who truly stands at the helm? Let's break it down. First, Roger. The Pirate King led a crew of legends to the end of the world. His charisma and vision inspired unwavering loyalty from giants like Rayleigh, Gabon, and even Shanks himself. Roger's leadership shaped history, no doubt about that. But then we have Luffy, and Luffy's leadership style is, well, unconventional. He doesn't order people around or make grand speeches. Instead, he inspires through his actions. Luffy's willingness to risk everything for his crew and his dream makes him him a natural leader. But hear me out. Shanks is the epitome of leadership. He's calm, strategic, and commands respect from allies and enemies alike. Shanks doesn't need flashy displays of power to lead. His mere presence shifts the tide. From his crew's loyalty to his role in maintaining balance in the world, Shanks demonstrates what true leadership looks like. That's why he's the winner. Shanks gets his first point. Pure love. In a world of pirates, betrayal, and chaos, who embodies this idea better than Boa Hancock? Sure, Hancock is fierce, prideful, and maybe a little over the top, but when it comes to Luffy, she's pure as can be. Her love isn't based on his strength, status, or looks. It's his kind heart and unwavering spirit that won her over. And let's be honest, her devotion is unmatched. She's risked her life, her title, and even her reputation for Luffy. Remember when she snuck him onto Marineford? Or when she stood up to the world government? Hancock's love for Luffy is unshakable, and that makes her the definitive winner of this category. Boa gets her first point. When we think of sorrow now, Luffy's story hits the hardest. Luffy's journey may seem carefree, but it's filled with heartbreak. From losing Ace at Marineford to watching Sabo die, Luffy has endured loss after loss, with the main point here being the depression he went through after losing Ace. I think Luffy embodies this trait the best in the world of One Piece. And it's not just about losing loved ones. Luffy carries the weight of protecting his crew and their dreams. What makes Luffy's sorrow stand out is how he channels it. He doesn't wallow in grief. He uses it as fuel. Luffy's ability to rise above his pain and keep fighting is both inspiring and heartbreaking. That's why he's the winner here. Luffy gets his fifth point in our video. Who has the biggest god complex in One Piece? Oh, come on, this is easy. And now, this guy didn't just think he was a god, he declared it, built a literal sky kingdom, and tried to annihilate an entire island because it didn't fit his vision. That's next level delusion. But here's the kicker. Enel actually had the power to back it up. His lightning abilities were godlike, and for most of his arc, he was unstoppable. The only reason he lost was because Luffy's rubber body made him immune. Imagine losing your god complex because of a guy with stretchy powers. Tough break, Enel, but your arrogance wins you this category. Enel gets his second point. Next up, who embodies the word genius the best? I mean, genius is a word thrown around a lot in One Piece, but no one embodies it like Vegapunk. This man has revolutionized the world, from artificial devil fruits to pacifistas and even cloning. Vegapunk's inventions are decades, maybe even centuries ahead of their time. He's the Einstein of One Piece, nearly literally, but with more explosions, of course. What sets Vegapunk apart is the sheer scale of his intellect. He doesn't just create cool gadgets, he rewrites the rules of reality. Whether it's replicating Logia powers or discovering the secrets of the Void Century, Vegapunk's genius is unmatched. No competition here, he's the clear winner. Vegapunk got his first point as well. Up next, female warrior. Who's the fiercest female warrior in One Piece? Let's compare. Boa Hancock is no joke. She's a master of hockey, a deadly fighter, and a natural leader. But when it comes to sheer power and presence, Big Mom takes the cake. Literally and figuratively. Big Mom is a Yonko, a force of nature, and a one-woman wrecking crew. Her strength, durability, and devil fruit abilities make her nearly unstoppable. Plus, her influence spans nations and generations. Big Mom isn't just a warrior, she's an empire. That's why she's the winner. Big Mom got her first point. Sacrifice is a common theme in One Piece, but Ace's story takes it to another level. Ace didn't just die for Luffy, he died to protect his brother's dreams. His final moments at Marineford weren't just tragic, they were heroic. Ace's sacrifice wasn't just about saving Luffy, it was about ensuring the future of their shared dream. What makes Ace's sacrifice so powerful is its ripple effect. It changed Luffy forever, drove him to train harder, and reinforced the bonds of his crew. Ace's sacrifice wasn't just a loss, it was a turning point. That's why he's the definitive choice. Ace gets his second point as well. Next up, teacher. Here, I think that when it comes to teachers, Rayleigh is a bit above the other candidates. Roger may have been a mentor in spirit, and Shanks definitely inspired Luffy, but Rayleigh? Well, he's the only one we actually saw training Luffy. He took him under his wing and taught him the fundamentals of hockey, preparing him for the new world. It is true that in the world of One Piece, there aren't many great candidates. But well, since we have to give this to someone, we're definitely going to be giving this to Rayleigh. Rayleigh gets his first point of the video as well. And for the final point of today's video, Badass Old Man. Badass Old Man? Well, the first candidate is, of course, Garp. He's an absolute legend, standing toe-to-toe with Aokiji, that, by the way, is in his prime, while Garp is literally an old man, not to mention how he literally destroyed an entire island with his galaxy impact. If it wasn't for one other candidate, then Garp would be a clear choice. But Whitebeard's presence at Marineford is the stuff of legends. This man fought an entire army of Marines, Yonko-level opponents, and even the admirals, all while being critically injured. Whitebeard's final stand wasn't just badass, it was iconic. He literally died standing, proving that even in death, he's untouchable. That's why Whitebeard takes the crown as the most badass old man in One Piece. Whitebeard gets his second point. Click on this video next, where we rank the top 3 strongest characters of each One Piece arc. Go on, check it out!